Hi, chat. Is this thing on? Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome on in to Unrestricted Lorefare's second faction turn for Beacon Space. Let's switch on over to this to start off the stream. Cool. I'm glad to see everyone here today and looking forward to everything that can get going. Happy Halloween, everyone, and let's hope we have a fantastic faction turn today. As always, thank you to all of the faction reps and faction assistants that helped make sure that the orders and everything got in on time prior to deadlines, and that we got all the information we needed for the first TTGI vote that occurred at the start of that will occur right now. So I'm not going to be saying who voted on what side, but you will be getting vote totals of the two options. So as a reminder, at the end of last faction turn, the Assembled Commonwealth, being the chair of the board for this month, put forward a here's what we want our proposal to be for the community to look at and vote on, and they had two options for you all. You get to choose either between reducing the distance by 1 hex when calculating exploration difficulty. However, the auto-explore damage would go from a d4 to a d6, which would have lasted for 3 turns. and had a second option with advancing the TELUS terraforming clock by 1. Uh, so the vote results, based on everyone that come into effect right now, is option 1 got 1 vote and option 2 got 8 votes. So we're going to go ahead and record that information here on the spreadsheet for tracking all of that. So let's go ahead and move on over here. Cool. And I'm going to place it on the planet map. On Telus's planet entry, I've added a column to this called notes. So if we have any notes to add on to planets, we can. And we're going to add the terraforming clock right here, which is at 1 out of 12. Great, so that starts our tracking of this terraforming clock for TTGI, and I should record the results of that vote somewhere where people can have access to it. I will find a spot on the spreadsheet to put that information in a reasonable manner for everyone to take a look at. For the moment, I will just add it in a Discord post in the faction turn updates so everyone can look at the results, and I will do that after the stream. So, but I will make sure it gets on the spreadsheet so that all the information is available on board as well. So with that, if you're new here, we've just gotten started with our faction turn. Make sure you follow along. We do this monthly, and we'll be going through our community variant of the Stars Without Numbers faction turn rule set, the GM game that is played and is being played by hundreds of people in the Discord on a monthly basis. Everyone can join into our 9 different factions here and contribute what they do to help build out the world of Beacon Space. We also have a wiki containing world lore, which you can access via !wiki in the chat, and that'll get you a link. If you need to see the spreadsheet, there are links in our Discord, which you can also join by an !Discord, and you can join on in there and check out all the information and take a look for yourself. With that, let's go ahead and get started on our actions for the faction turn now. So our first individual for this faction turn, and I need to add all of this information in here. So our first faction is the Larkspur Combine for turn 2. They'll be getting us started here, and they're going to be doing a few things. So let's go ahead and take this over. They're going to be setting themselves a goal of inside enemy territory, and then let's give them their income and then process their action of use asset ability. So Larkspur Combine is going to take the inside enemy territory goal, and this is the first time we've had this goal come up, so let's go ahead and read through the details of it. Inside enemy territory have a number equal to your cunning score of stealth assets on worlds with other planetary governments. Units that are already stealthed on worlds when this goal is adopted don't count. This has a difficulty of 2. So, there's also some additional clarifications for this in the rulings document that I believe have already been updated to reflect this tag. So this means they need to have, oops, wrong tab. They need to have their cunning score, which is 3, so IET 0, 0 out of 3. Let's go ahead and track it there. Great. And let's start processing their turn of use asset action after I give them their income for the turn, which is 4. So that brings them up to 5 fat cred balance. And let's start processing their actions. So let's copy and paste this in and then move items around on the sheet. Okay. I'll be that way, Google. There we are. So that gives us our asset details. So we're going to first activate their Postech industry on Moss, which requires rolling a die. Let's go find out what. Postech industry right here. Well, I think this is technically should have two T's in it, but the Postech industry produces money. As an action, the faction rolls 1d6 and then gains or loses fact creds based off the result. So let's go roll that d6 for them. I should have done that to start. All right, so a 3. That's a pretty good result. So that means they earn 1 fat cred. So let's go record that result and then roll 3 plus 1 fat cred. I should be consistent with my brackets. Let's go give them that credit, bringing them up to 6. And then they are activating their surveyors that they own. Let's go find those that are on Telos, I believe. Yep, those are their only surveyors. And they're going to be moving those to Sihi, which is within the movement range of the surveyors, which were here, right there, and then they're just moving over there to Sihi. Great. Let me update that. And that cost 1 fat cred. Great. And I believe gives them 1 stealth asset on another world because they've moved to a planet not controlled by them with a stealth asset. So that cost 1 fat cred, bringing them down. Wrong cell. Bringing them down to 5. And then bringing their IET up to 1 out of 3. Great. And then they're also activating the Seductroxes on Gome to move them to Nueva Cometa. Let's go find both of these. So these are on 1208, right over here. And they're going to be moving 1 space down to here because as an action, the Seductrux can travel to any world within 1 hex for free. So let's go move both of these down to Nueva Cuauhtémoc, as I will actually correctly pronounce it this time. So that goes with all of that. And then it seems like this, if there's a comment that it doesn't cost money to move the surveyors, which reviewing the surveyor's description would in fact be accurate, which means the note I was given by the faction there was slightly off. Let me go give them their money back for double checking that. Thanks. Let's put their balance back up at 6. That doesn't cost a fat cred. They've moved 2 additional units, though, that are stealth onto another planet, completing their IET goal and giving them 2 XP. This goal category is going to prove to be very useless, as people are going to take goals and then generally resolve them on the same turn. Let's get rid of that note. That should finish up Larkspur's Combine turn. Let me add a note that there should totally be a way to add a new line into this. That they resolved their goal and earned 2 XP. Goal earned 2 XP. There. That takes care of Larkspur Combine, so we can move on to the Amelhart Institute, who are going second this turn. They are not setting a goal, and they are also taking the use asset action. So I'm just going to copy their entire turn in, and then we'll go process that. So they get their 5 fat creds of income. We'll hire Institute, bringing them up to 9 fat creds. And then they are going to be activating their commodities brokers assets on their homeworld of Ingrid. And commodities brokers gets to roll 1d8 each, and that many fat creds are then banked to be subtracted from the cost of the next asset purchase down to a minimum of half. So let's go roll those 2d8s. And I will, for purposes, need to assign a die roll to each one in case an asset is destroyed. So a 7 and a 5, giving a total possible discount of 12. Given it does not matter what order these are currently assigned in because they are just sitting on the planet. I'm just going to randomly assign it. AI's there. Discount 7. Discount 5. Giving a total discount of possible of 12. And then they have a commercial broker on Sihi, or commodities broker on Sihi that needs to be rolled for as well. Let me go find that one. I should sort this over here by factions. That would make my life easier. Okay, here's the one on Sihi. Let's go roll a d8 for that one. Oof, only a discount of 1 on Sihi. Maybe the selling to the other to the mechs priests on Sihi wasn't going too well this quarter. Finally, well, not finally, next up, they've got activating their party machine that is on Telos, and party machine has changed from what was in the original book. So let's go review the role it's going to make. Yeah, as an action, it can roll a 1d6. On a 4+, we will gain a fat cred. So let's roll that d6 and hope for a 4 or better. We've got a 5, so in fact, they do earn a fat cred from the party machine. So let's go give AI that credit, 10. And I should be 7, 5, 1, 5, roll 5, results plus 1 fat cred. Great. And then they're going to be activating the smugglers that are on Telos to move into space. Smugglers, let me see if I can quickly find it on this thing. Smugglers are a starship asset, so they can exist in empty space, and they cost 1 fat cred to move itself and or 1 special unit up to into a location up to 2 hexes away. So let's go move that into 811 space. And hopefully I have set this up so that the map won't break on trying to load this location. I think I may have to do some more finagling of the hexes. I don't believe it likes locations that are being named the same. So we may need to do some refinement on that, but I'll keep an eye on it afterwards. And then as their last activation, they're going to be taking the special ability of their homeworld to move Ingrid from 0711, which is right here, into 0712, 1 space south. So let's go move their homeworld as they are allowed to do. Scroll over and find it. There they are. So 0712, and it's now in its own system rather than being in the system of Bazaar. So 0712, Asset tracker, anything that was on Bazaar needs to be updated to this location, which should be those 4 assets. And this one, great. That should take care of moving every asset that has moved along with that planet. Cool. Cool. That finishes up Amelhart Institute's turn. We thank them for their submission. Moving right along onto our next faction is the Assembled Commonwealth, going third this turn. Previous chair of the Overseers Board for TTGI, now just third in the faction turn order. They're going to be taking no goal, but they are going to be setting the use asset action ability. And I'll go grant them their income here in just a moment. However, I must note that they have attempted to activate a harvester on that is an invalid activation because it was just recently traded and has trade sickness, which does not clear until the end. Until the end of the faction turn, based on the way units get moved around. You can't use a unit the same turn you would receive it, so this goes away at the end of the turn, so they can't actually activate the activated ability. But if it had a passive ability, they would be able to use the passive ability. And it could still defend. So that's how trade sickness versus purchase sickness works, and I've now set them up with 2 different status and 2 different color indicators, so that can be easily identified when looking at the setting tracker. It previously was just using the same color, which was slightly confusing. But regardless, their next request for this use asset action turn, as I go grant them their 6 credits of income, is to activate the freighter contract on Icarus, moving itself and a commodities broker to Tellus. So let's go double check the freighter contract's description, just so I'm not messing up another charge. Gotta wait here somewhere. Here it is. Freighter contract can grant special links for shipping heavy shipping spacers, can transport itself and or any one non-force asset up to a location up to 2 hexes away at a cost of 1 fat cred. So they are, according to this note, we're shipping the freighter contract, which is on Icarus, and a commodities broker, which is also on Icarus, and they are being moved to Tellus. Great. That is that thing done, and according to the note here, this is just as an action. It does not cost a FECRED. Yeah, somebody can feel free to correct me if they believe that is incorrect, but I think this is another one where that note is misplaced. For freighter, it doesn't. That's not what it says in the spreadsheet, though. Unless I'm misreading this sentence, right? Oh. Oh, I am. I'm blind. At the cost of 1 fat cred. Yay for sentences not putting uh, consistent pricing locations. Because for here, it says for 2 fat creds up at front. Uh, I should fix that. Okay. It is minus 1 fat cred. And there's a weird line break. Okay. Let's go take away that fat cred and then roll for the commodities brokers that they have. So there's Simple Commonwealth. They have 9, now they have 8. And now let's go roll for some discounts. They've got 3d8, and I'm just going to assign them going down. So 1, 3, and 5. They are immediately using this discount, so I'm not going to bother assigning it to specific ones. But I will record over here what the results were. So 1, 3, 5. So the one on Tellus rolled a 1, Eiderlast rolled a 3, and the one on the newly explored planet D rolled a 5. Let's double check that. So a total discount of 9. And then they are activating the pretext logistics on their homeworld to purchase an extended theater. So an extended theater generally costs 10 fat creds. Pretext logistics makes that cost 150%, so 15 fat creds. They have asked to apply the discount that they rolled. That discount would be a total discount of 9, producing a final cost of 6 fat creds. Which is 1 fat cred above the half cost that the asset could be at 5 fat creds. So that is a valid purchase cost. I don't need to adjust it, and we can give them an extended theater for 6 fat creds. Let's go subtract that, leaving them with a balance of 2, and then Assembled Commonwealth has purchased an extended theater on Eiderest, and it has just been purchased. Great. That is that SS bought and processed. I believe that finishes up their turn as they didn't set a goal. Yes, that's correct. Cool, so we can move on to our 4th faction this round with Tahora Fai. They're going to be taking the expand influence action and goal, and then immediately expanding influence. So I will go track that goal and give them their fat creds, and then we will move things around. So they gain 4, bringing them up to 6, and they're taking the expand influence goal. Amelhart has lost their homeworld. Okay, let me fix that. Oh, is this text color just white for some reason? Yes. Weird. Okay. Resolving that issue, let's go process the first additional order from Tahora Fai. They are activating a strike fleet on Dine. Yep, on Dine. This one right here, to move out to planet A. So we'll go ahead and process that. That's cost 1 fat cred. So let's go take that away from the Tahora, bringing them down to 5. Great. And then they're also going to be spending 1 additional fat cred, bringing them down to 4, to build a base of influence on planet A. They are the only one on that planet, so there's nobody to contest them. So they get a base of influence. All right, let's give that to them. Base of influence. It can be that. It has 1 HP. I'm surprised that didn't yell at me. And it is on planet A. Great, so they now have a base of influence there. For Tahora Fai, excuse me, finishing up their goal, bringing them up to 3 experience points. That resolves their turn. They do have a tag that is relevant to mention at this point in time. They have the Pirates tag. And any movement asset onto a world that has a base of influence for this faction cost 1 extra fat cred that is then paid to them. So assets that move on to planet A will now owe Tahora some money. So keep that in mind. Coming up next in our faction turn, trying to move relatively quickly, is Aguamala Syndicate coming in here at number 5. They are also taking an expand influence action. So we will process that here momentarily once we give them their money. Let's bring them up to 6 and then set that. And then they are expanding influence, but they have some assets to move first. So they are moving 2 of their strike fleets. They are moving the strike fleet on Icaros to their homeworld, and they are moving the strike fleet that is currently floating out in space on 1109 to the planet of Gome. And both of those cost 1 fat cred each, and then they are also spending a fat cred to build a 1 HP BOI on Gome. We will quickly check that the Starlit Court is present on this planet. They were asked and have chosen not to oppose this expand influence request. So let's go add Aguamala's base of influence. That is 1 HP in size onto Gome, as they have successfully completed that action. Total cost for their turn were 3 fat creds, so we'll take that away, give them their 1 XP, and remove their goal. Their Seas of Gome also continues to click up, giving them a total of 2 out of 3 on that action. Great. That finishes up Aguamala Syndicate. Quick turns with all of these just expand influence actions. And we're going to be continuing that train here with the Starlit Court coming in 6th in our faction turn, also taking an expand influence goal. So let's go give them their money and set their goal. So that brings them up to 5, and then they expand influence. Set that as a goal. They are taking as their first thing, they want to build a base of influence on Ingrid. We'd look at all the factions that are currently present. It's just them and Amelhart Institute. Amelhart Institute was asked and declined to contest this expansion, so Starlit Court is just able to get a base of influence that is still 1 in size on Ingrid. So we can go take away that 1 credit and then complete their goal for them, just so that I don't forget to do that. Great. They also have 2 other requests. They are moving a few assets around. So let's go sort this over here. That's fine. Okay, so then they are moving their strike fleet that is on planet B, this one right here, 2 hexes away into 1606 space. I believe I need to add that one. Yes, I do. To the list of valid space locations. And actually, I didn't need to add a row because this one is no longer needed. This, by the way, is how I am getting around the restriction of assets needing to be on planets in the sector map by just adding fake locations that are indicating themselves as space with no planetary information. So if anyone's wondering how they want to do that themselves, this is currently the workaround to achieve that. As I've said, I think the map doesn't quite like system names being identical, so there is a possibility now that we have multiple of these locations that they will do weird things in the display. If that's the case, I will add a unique lowercase Roman numeral identifier to those, and so we get like space I and space II. But if that causes problems, I will fix that. But let's go finish up moving the other request of Starlit Court. They are moving smugglers that are currently on Gome to 1305 space as well. And let me double check smugglers. Yep, 1 fat cred. So that's both the strike fleet and that cost 1 fat cred each, bringing them down to a balance of 2. And that resolves their turn. Coming in 7th for this faction turn is Children of the Vein, and they are shifting up our action choice this turn, taking the refit action. Being the only thing they are doing this turn is refitting a shipping combine that is on Moss, which is valued at 10 fat creds, into an extended theater asset, which is also valued at 10 fat creds, which we can see right on this, though it's 10 HP, costs 10. It is a facility. and it is being refit into an extended theater, which is the facility as well. So it's a valid transfer, and the cost is the same, so there's no additional cost to Children of the Vein. So let's give them their fat creds, bringing them up to a total balance of 12. And then let's go find that shipping combine. There it is, and turn it into an extended theater. Well, great. That takes care of Children of the Veins action, the quickest one of this faction turn. Next up, we have Ascent coming in at number 8 in the turn. And they are taking the exploration goal and action, as will our last member of the faction of this faction turn. So let's go give them their money. Ascent now has a total of 6, and they're taking the exploration goal. Ascent had previously purchased an asset or last turn, so that goes away, and they are activating the smugglers that have just become available to them, that are on Icaros, to move themselves and tripwire cells that are also present here to the point of interest on 1207. So let's move 1207 point of interest, and they're moving that and the tripwire cells. That cost a total of 2 fat creds, 1 fat cred for the asset and another for the exploration fee, which is just the same as it was previously. So they have moved those onto 1207. So let's go check the map here. We can see 1207's point of interest is right here. It is 1 hex away from Gome. So if we check our exploration difficulty, our difficulty is 2 times distance to the nearest explored hex, which is 1. So a total difficulty of 10. So they'll be rolling a 1d10 plus the stat of the asset they are exploring with. And they are starting their exploration out with smugglers. So they'll be rolling 1d10. Smugglers are a cunning asset, so they'll be rolling a 1d10 plus 4 against a d10. Let's wish them good luck. They have rolled a 14 with rolling a 10 on the die and adding that 4 modifier in, so congratulations to them on succeeding on the exploration roll. The first success we've had on exploration, mind you, for the 1207 hex. So let me go mark down the result of that. Invalid for the second action because the smugglers roll 1d10 plus 4, result 14, success. So that creates planet seer. So let's follow these rules and roll a d6 to figure out how many planets we've got, /rd6. I've rolled a 4, which I believe creates 2 planets, as we can see right here. So we'll make the first planet here, which I believe should be planet E in our setting tracker. And then I'm going to go ahead and roll planet F as well right here on stream so that it all shows up. And then I'm going to pop this over onto my second monitor so I can transfer information easier into the spreadsheet without having to tab back and forth and causing a headache for everyone watching. So let's go add both of these into our planet map. So I'm going to need... well, first I can put the first one right here. And again, this was for 1207. So I can take over this one right here and add planet E. And it has the mech tag of facility assets built on this world, cost 1 less. It has a millions of population. Yep, that's fine. It is TL1 with a invasive atmosphere. It is cold, but has a missable biosphere, and has the tags of Fallen Hegemon and Cyborgs. So that's quite an interesting result. And the ruins roll was a 2, so unfortunately no ruin is present on this planet. Additionally, we have another planet now in the system to create, system XLVI, and this is planet F on our map. And this has the tag of cunning assets built in this world, cost 1 less. It has a population of a failed colony, but it is, however, TL4. It has a corrosive atmosphere with a temperate temperature and has no native biosphere, along with the Pharaoh world and another fallen hegemon, perhaps the same as is discovered in this system and was a failed colony of the hegemon. But we will see what is told about the hex 1207. So that creates both of those planets for ascent. Let's go relocate their planets onto the valid location, which is the first planet created, so that is planet E. Planet F is a valid location you could move to, so that will be quite interesting. And yeah, TL1 cyborgs are quite interesting. So peg legs, I guess, would be the appropriate thing. Um, cool. I'm seeing a note that people think Amelhart has too many fat creds. I will double check that afterwards and see if I have missed something somewhere. So remind me at the very end, and I can go check that. Uh, this finishes the exploration goal for Ascent, which I believe is difficulty 2, so it's 2 XP. Bringing them up to 4 and completing that goal. And then last but not least in the turn order execution is the Concord of Mutual Disdain, which are also taking the Explorer action as I mentioned earlier. So let's go resolve that, and I suppose I should be consistent in my naming. So they're taking Explore. Let's give them their money, bringing them up to 6. Before they do that, they are activating the smugglers they own on Karkaduk to move themselves and lobbyists to a point of interest. So let's go find those assets. Smugglers, which they purchased last turn and is now resolved, and the lobbyist. Great, and they are moving that to 1410. Oops. Right there, right? Yep, moving the lobbyist. So moving those to 1410 from 1210. So if we check our map here, they're going from here to here. So they're now on this point of interest out here. And they're going to be taking the exploration action as well. They are exploring with the smugglers first. Smugglers are a cunning asset. Concord's cunning score is 2. Okay, so they'll be rolling a d10 plus 2. The difficulty is, I believe this is 2 hexes away. Yes, so the difficulty is 12. So they'll be rolling a d10 plus 2 against a difficulty of 12. So they will need a critical success to succeed on this roll. So let's roll that d10 plus 2, and they've rolled an 8. Not quite the 10 we were hoping for. Wrong one. Right here. So this rolls roll 1d10 plus 2 equals 8. Failure, and they have chosen to let that failure stand because they are then going to explore with the lobbyist that they also moved. The lobbyist itself, I believe, is also a cunning asset. It is, okay. So we will make the same roll against the same difficulty. resulting in a slightly better roll of a 9 rather than an 8, but unfortunately still a failure. But they have chosen this time to succeed at the failure cost, only taking 1 damage to succeed. So it must have been an easy planet to traverse and discover. Let's make note of that, giving us a roll of 1d10 plus 2 equals 9. Failure, succeed at cost with 1d4 damage equals 1. And so let's go apply that 1 damage to the lobbyist. Before I forget, right here, HP is now at 3. And then let's go create their planet. Actually, I need to roll a d6 first to figure out how many planets are in this system. Rolling a 3 is just 1 planet. Oh, so close on that ruins roll of an 18 rather than but not a 20. So unfortunately, we are looking for a 20 with a critical success to get ruins there. That said, let's go make planet G here and add it to our map. So this is in hex 1410. Right here, giving us planet G. The mechanical tag adds 1 XP for each successful planetary seizure. It has an outpost population level. Yes, that's fine, thanks, sheet. It is TL2. It has a breathable atmosphere with a variable cold temperature and an immiscible biosphere, along with having bubble cities and sectarians. I actually don't know what the description of sectarians is from the Stars Without Number rulebook itself. I don't by chance have what things. No, I don't have what things are in this spreadsheet. I will have to pull my PDF out. Give me a second. I don't have it open. That was a mistake. Why don't I have it open? Um, Let me see if I can quickly find it and get it open. And if not, I will need to locate it and get it open. Stars and numbers, there it is. And Deluxe Edition PDF. Um, I don't know if I have a setup to easily show it. Oh, somebody has found it faster than me in chat, thanks. The world is torn by violent disagreement between sectarians of a particular faith. Each views the other as a damnable heresy in need of extirpation? I don't know how to pronounce that word. Local government may be able to keep open war from breaking out, but the poisonous hatred divides communities. The nature of faith may be religious or may be based on some secular ideology. Huh. Well, that one is very interesting. Um, I got, I like it. Yeah, it does entirely fit with the Concord of Mutual Disdain, finding a planet that is in more disdain. This is very fitting. Great. Cool. Well, I am very interested to see what happens to that planet, but let's go get our assets that were moved in properly located on it, on this planet. Did I rename it? Doesn't seem like I did. Yep, I did. Planet G. Okay, so 1410. Now be on planet G. Great. Let's go resolve the goal, give them their 2 experience points for completing an exploration, and then let me go double check Amelhart's money here so that they don't have more fat creds than they're supposed to. So they made 5 fat creds. They gained 1 from the party machine, gaining them 6. Smugglers cost them 1, so they gained a total of 5 fat creds. So what did they have before I started streaming today? I take a look at an old version of the sheet, go over to the faction tracker, I see that AI had a balance of 4. So yes, they should have a balance of 9. So somewhere something didn't get properly things, so we can fix that. 9. Great. I bet I didn't charge the 1 for the smuggler's activation. Great. That resolves all of the faction turns that the factions sent in. I thank you all very much for getting those orders in and quickly getting back to me with any resolution questions I had. So that takes care of that section of our stream. Getting done in about 45 minutes for this is pretty good on the speed route. So with that, I'm going to switch back over to here, and we've got two other topics to discuss. It is much easier to speed run the faction turn, everyone, when there's not a several attack actions that have to be processed out. I'm sure as soon as we get some of those exciting turns, that it'll take a little bit longer to process out, and I will want to make sure that I'm not making any mistakes in those dice rolls, because it would be a pain to correct. So I do have two other topics, as I said today. I'm going to start off with our first one being for turn 2. I sent the new chair of the Overseers Board of Telesterra Group Initiative, which happened to be Amelhart Institute, and they were given some options to propose up, and they have selected and present to the body, to the board, two choices again. It has the TTGI dividend disbursement, giving that TTGI pays out dividends to its investors as it has fat creds to disperse. However, political maneuvering is always a part of such distributing excess funds. A total of 9 fat creds are available, and factions have the following choices for this turn. And again, all of this information will be posted in Discord, so you don't have to just, rely on watching the video. Your two options for this turn are either to steal, which is try to gain an unfair share of the pot. However, if more than 3 factions try to steal, no faction gets anything, and all the money just sort of gets tied up in bureaucratic accounting and gets lost. Or factions can choose to share and receive an even split of the fat creds to be distributed. So again, they can either steal or share out of a total pot of 9 fat creds. In the event that 2 factions steal, it would be fat creds rounded down, so 1 fat cred would go missing and unaccounted for, because I can't award half of a fat cred on the sheet. So, again, that post will be up in Discord immediately following the stream, along with the voting totals for the vote that was announced, or the resolution of the vote that was announced at the start. So that takes care of that topic, unless there are any questions in chat. But I'll give a few seconds to see if anything comes in. Right, doesn't look like there's any questions about that so far. So again, if there's anything on TTGI, you can reach out and ask, and if I'm able to, I will give you an answer. There is one final topic for today's stream, and thank you for asking. I'm doing quite fine. The final topic is I'm going to be opening up the Mechanics Council rooms over this weekend. They'll get opened up. If you wish to get the tag to join in, you'll be able to ask a mod. In the near future, you'll be able to ask the bot to either assign you or take away the role. As it was stated last time I had a discussion about this, it's going to function differently than it did previously. It is an advisory board. Similarly, however, the way conversations will be structured will be slightly different. And the first topic of conversation for anyone who is joining in there, and I'm going to give I'm going to give about 48 hours after I make the announcement that you can request the role, where your first topic will sort of get slowly rolled out, and it's going to be a structuring request. So figuring out, and everybody who's joined in there, figuring out how they want to structure some of the tools and resources that they'll be using throughout the stream or throughout the process in that channel. When you get a request from me or any of the other mods to playtest things, how we would want perhaps statistics that are being reported about the different changes, how we want to present those so that there's an agreed upon way of discussing the way stats come about. Are we going to use, if there's dice rolling stats, are we going to get them from multiple different sources? Are we going to use any dice, for example, and how do you want to present that information so that everyone is able to understand what is being talked about? Again, this is going to be a very mechanics heavy discussion field. Joining in is optional, and participation has some high expectations and guidelines that we're not going to get into personal attacks with each other, and we're not going to create a hostile environment as we try to bug test and fix any issues we may find in the game. As a reminder, I do have the final say over any mechanical changes that impact the turn as they get rolled out, and that will still be the thing, but of course, we'll be taking in the advice of the board for the Mechanics Council. You will get, again, if you want to be able to join that, you'll see a post in over this weekend about when we're opening it up, and you'll be able to request that tag. Channel's already been created, so just need to start rolling that out. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming on out to the faction turn. I hope you enjoyed the stream today and had a great time getting to know what every faction did here on Faction Turn 2. Again, if you're new, make sure you give us a follow. We do the Faction Turn stream monthly here. Generally, it'll be around the end of every month. That'll modify slightly as we get into the holiday season coming up, but not too much. We'll be looking to still run a total of 12 faction turns over the course of a year. Again, happy Halloween, everyone. And uh, other announcements, I guess, is we are looking at having the next lore stream being November 14th at the same start time of 1 p.m. EDT for lore stream for the next upcoming lore stream. So that'll be a thing. If you have presentations you'd like to put together, audio clips, documents, make sure you get them into us, preferably by the 12th of November, so that we can review them for that stream and get all of that information prepared. That should wrap everything up. I think for me, tentatively, if you're wondering when the next faction turn would be, I would suspect it'll be the 28th of November. I realize that is potentially problematic because of US Thanksgiving occurring on the 26th, which would be turn locks and things. So there may be a slight shifting of that schedule, but tentatively it'll be around the 28th of November. We may shift to 1 or 2 days, turn locks around to try to avoid the holiday. But again, the final details for that will get posted in the next couple of days in the Faction Representatives channel, so stay tuned there for any updates. Well, thanks for tuning out, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, give us a follow. We really appreciate it, and hope to see you again soon. Cool. Thank you very much, and let me leave you with some fun music.